Ladies and gentlemen, I'm meadsy69. Welcome back to the channel. Now, today's video, we are going to have a look at the Amx 50B. Yes, the 50B has been changed by quite a bit, to be honest. It has been changed by quite a bit. And is the change good or is the change bad? Now, the 50B has always really been compared with the T57. It was kind of the only ones in tier 10 with the autoloader, but yet they were so different. They were so different. The 50B was all about speed. It was all about speed, no armor, and the 57 was all about sort of it was quite slow. It wasn't the fastest, and it did have some armor. So they always played completely different. Now the 50B, you could play it as a medium because the speed is absolutely fantastic on this tank. The armor profile, however, isn't so good. However, the turret is kind of troll. The turret is kind of troll. Now the changes, the aim time and the dispersion have been pretty much nerfed, but ever so slightly, even so slightly that it's not really even worth talking about. The armor on the turret just under the gun has been lowered by around about 10 millimeters, which again is nothing. Also, the change, I think the biggest change for this is obviously the 4 shells instead of 3. So yes, this has 4 shells, and the reload time for the magazine has been increased by almost 5 seconds. So that is a big increase, but you've got to remember it has an extra shell. So the damage is, well, I think 10 damage less alpha per shot, which isn't a lot, to be honest. So overall, I do think this is actually a good buff. I do think this is a good, no, I wouldn't even say a buff, it's a change. You're doing more alpha in quick succession, but then you do have that long reload. So I do prefer that. I do prefer the 4 shells in this tank rather than the 20 odd second reload, the 5 second extra reload, sorry, added onto the reloads. So the DPM 2815, still not bad DPM for a auto loading tank. Penetration 257 on your standard round, and 380 damage instead of 400. So I think it's 20 damage less per shot, which, I mean, 380 is still decent. And again, you got to remember that you can actually get rolls up and past 400, so you're still going to get them 400 rolls, but you're also going to get the less alpha rolls, you know, the low 300. When you get the low 300 rolls, then yeah, it will kind of suck. But if you're hitting around 370 to 390 or 360 to 400, then it's not too bad. So the penetration is 257, as I've said, and 340 on your APCR, which again, if you're shooting the APCR, the alpha is 320 again, so you're going to sometimes hit below 200, well, below 300, sort of 280 mark. So yeah, you don't want to be shooting the APCR a lot on this tank, because you can see you lose like 500 DPM there just by shooting the Pramo. So the armor profile, I mean, the turret is not the strongest. The armor profile is not the strongest, as you can see here. Yeah, there's some red on the front plate there, where upwards of 300 millimeters, but most tier 10 tanks with Pramo will get through that anyway. And of course, the upper plate is over sort of 400, 500, depends where you look at it. So you will get bounces. You will get bounces on the thing, and if you hold down, then you still got over 200 millimeters on your turret. Sort of one side 289 there, the lower 223. So not the best, but you will still get bounces. And if you're using some gun depression, if you're on a ridge looking up, you can get over 300 millimeters on that turret. So you can still get troll bounces, and that's the annoying thing with this tank. Sometimes you think you can penetrate, it looks kind of grey, and then it bounces, so it's frustrating. So we're just going to have a look at a couple of games just to show how this new 4 shell autoloader works on the battlefield. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people are not going to like the change, because obviously the reload is an extra 5 seconds, and with the extra shell you do have to sort of expose yourself for a little bit longer to get all 4 shells out. But in some situations it really does work. Now you're going to see here the object 268 on the enemy team, and I feel sorry for that guy. You know, he's done nothing wrong, he's front line, and you could just see 560 there with 2 shots, 900 with 3 shots, or 2 shots, sorry, 3 shots there. We're already on, so we've done 1600. We've done 1600 for 4 shots, and where I prefer this, the 4 shells over the 3 shells. Now the 3 shells you'll do about 1200, so which is standard, an extra 400, which we've just got 1600. So the first magazine worked out fine, and because there was no other targets for me to shoot anyway, the reload didn't really bother me. Now where this will affect is when there are tanks around you. Of course, when you use all 4 shells, yeah, you're getting more alpha, but you've got to remember that you've then now got a 24, round about a 24 second reload, which is a long time, to not be able to do anything. So that can haunt you, that can come back to haunt you, especially if you're in a 1 versus 3 situation, or a 1 versus 2 situation, or even a 1 versus 1 if you're against someone with a lot of hit points, maybe like an E100 or a medium tank. It could even be a medium tank. But me personally, I do like the change. I do really like the 4 shells, and mainly as also is, if you mess up, like, I mean, I'm going to mess up here with this shot, and now I'm in a situation where I'm in trouble. You know, I'm on a 20 plus second reload, and there's nothing I can do. Luckily it's only an IS4 in front, and I do have some cover. So if you don't have cover and you're on that reload, then you are just going to get obliterated. So do bear in mind that. I like going with the mediums. As you just seen, I went with the medium side with the mediums, and we managed to rip these guys apart. I mean, I didn't do much damage, and I didn't do a lot, but I still done 4.6k damage. So I built that up pretty quickly and pretty easily. I did nothing special, and you'll notice that with all auto loaders, and when they've got 4 shells, you're getting sort of 1600 damage per magazine. Now, as I've said, it does work in your favor if you do sort of focus fire. Now, if you run it in a platoon with 2 50Bs, you're getting quite a bit of DPM there. I mean, if I did 1600 damage, you're looking at over 3000 damage. Like, if you work with someone, if you work in a platoon with someone that is good, and you focus fire, you could literally kill any tank that is in front of you if you work together. Imagine how annoying that will be, coming around the corner and there's even an E100 there, and you just focus that E100 without any of you bouncing your shots. He is gone. He is gone in around 9 seconds. Like, gone. You've got 4 shells, bang, and from the start to the finish, he's going to be gone in around 9 seconds. Actually, less than that, because the E100 is around 2,700 hit points. You could do 3,200 hit points roughly between you both. So that's only around about 3 shells each anyway. And with it before, where you had the 3 shells, yeah, if you're platooning and you have 3 shells each and you can destroy one of these heavies, this time you're still going to have a shell spare, or you're still going to have a shell spare if you miss a shot, or if you block a shot, just like there, if you bounce. So it just gives it that extra. If you don't pen all 4, it's not a massive issue, because you've still got 3. That's the way I look at it. Yes, you do have the extra reload, 5-second reload, but honestly, you don't really feel that. The only time you are going to feel that is when you are in a kind of 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, or 1 versus 1 situation. That's the only really time that you're going to feel that. But overall, it's a fantastic change. I think it's a fantastic change. A lot of people, as I've said, might not agree because of the reload. No idea what this 60 TP is doing. But again, if you go for the tracks, keep them there, and you're going to keep them there, and it's going to be annoying. Now let's look at some of the rolls. I mean, 3.7, 400 there, so he's still getting the 400. 3.54, which is, yeah, a little bit on the low side, and then he bounces that 3rd shot, that 4th shot, but not too bad, because he still bounces. He still gets 3 shots in, so he's still doing sort of upwards of 1,000 just over 1,000 damage anyway, which is still not bad at all. So we are going to watch the rest of this game, because this, I mean, the bad thing about the 50B is, as I've said, it's because of that reload now, it is quite a difficult tank to carry in. It is a difficult tank to carry in with that reload. So at the minute, he's on 4,000 damage, and there is now a 3 versus 4. So still a lot of work to do. Now, the E75 is there, so he's got 3 shells left, 1 into him, 2 into him. Unfortunately, can't quite get the third one in, the fourth one in. Can he do it? No, he can't. So he's just going to turn around and get the shot into the Vickers. And now the Vickers has taken out the waffle, but it is now a 2 versus 3. And the worst thing about the reload is when you've actually got shots off. Like the Vickers here, he's now going to pretty much bully this Jaeger, and he cannot do anything about it. Unfortunately, he can't do anything about it while he's on that reload. So now he's just about to reload. Now the Vickers is on 1,300 hit points. As long as he doesn't bounce any shots, he should be able to take him out nice and easy. So there's 400 on the first shot. He's going to go for the second, again another 400, and the third shot he's going to switch to the HE, and that's still over 500 damage. So he's still then got 1 shot spare, which he can then use on the 60 TP and bring the 60 TP down to a 3 shot. So yeah, it has its advantages, and of course it has its disadvantages, but I honestly like it. I like the 4 shells, and now because he's on the reload, he can't really do anything. He's got to run away, otherwise he's just going to get isolated there with 1 tank coming around, and both of these tanks have big guns. 1 shot from each of these tanks and it's pretty much game over. Now luckily he doesn't get that HE in there. He gets 1 shot. Can he bounce? Yes, he can, kind of. So yeah, I mean, you can see it can still bounce. The tank can still bounce, and it will always be able to bounce. It is a troll tank with the armor profile. It is a very troll tank. You can see 1,600 block damage he's got, so you can get the block damage. Now he's on the run. There's still 1.5 minutes left. He's not going to look at running away. He's looking at just running, just relocating whilst he's on that reload. And if he can get a bounce from the 60 TP, or if he can get the 60 TP to miss, then he's going to be able to release all 4 shells into the 60 TP whilst that 60 TP is reloading. But I think he's going to have to get a bounce, or he's going to have to get for the 60 TP to miss a shot. So the 60 TP is there. He's going to get 1 shot into him, absolutely perfect. But to be honest, that was a nice shot from the 60 TP. That was a nice shot, and he did get away with that. But nevertheless, it's still a fantastic battle. Ends on 8,000 damage, 8,500 damage. So well played. But it is still a difficult tank to carry, and especially now it has that reload. But let me know your thoughts on the Amx 50B. It's a great tank. I like the change. Let me know your comments, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye. With